Not only was Kobe Bryant a legend, but he also showed us what it looked like to be a girl dad. I mean, I don't have any kids, but there's something about a father and their daughter. It's so cute. And especially because there's this narrative that black men period, aren't really there for their children. The whole girl dads thing, love it. Maybe I'll be a girl dad. Let's get the show started.
We can do better. We can do better.
All right, America, welcome to the Brandon Show. Today we're talking about girl dads. It's been 10 months since the death of Kobe Bryant, and the hashtag girl dad lives on. We're talking to some of the fathers who were inspired by Kobe Bryant's legacy. Mohammed, you have this huge following online, and it chronicles your life as a father. It's called The Chronicles of Daddy. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So the Chronicles of Daddy, originally it started as a way for me to share my experiences as a father with my family. I'm from the Bay Area and I live in Southern California. So when I had my daughter Zendaya, my experience wasn't what I thought it would naturally be. My parents weren't able to come to the hospital. My siblings weren't able to see my child, and I wasn't able to share that experience with my entire family. And so me being really close and family oriented, I wanted a way to show my mom and my dad and my siblings just what I was doing and how I was doing, and also have them be able to share in the experience. And so I started sharing stories of, what was going on with me as a father with my daughter on social media so that they can see it.
So your brand completely changed. My producer tells me that you started out doing like fitness branding, and all of a sudden you switched from fitness to being a father, and it just sort of took off, right?
So that's how I met my wife. We're both in the health and fitness, and I was personal training and she's a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And then we had my daughter Zendaya. And while I still loved health and fitness, I loved her more, and I
Mhm.
loved that more. And it became something that I felt was taking me away from her, because as a personal trainer, you have to leave to go train people. And so when my wife and my daughter were at home, I would have to leave and go work. And I didn't like that. I felt like I was missing something. I don't know if any other dads would relate to that feeling when your child's first born and you're outside of the house. It seems like something special is going to happen and you're going to miss it because they grow so fast. And so from there, I try my best to be home as much as possible and share my stories. And I realized the more I shared, the more it helped me, but it also helped other people. And I wanted to continue to share.
I'm getting all the feels. You said I loved her more. The audience at home is like swooning and tearing up right now at that statement. And then you had another daughter. What was having your second daughter? How did that feel?
Zendaya is the oldest. Zuri is 15 months younger.
Yeah.
And having Zuri it was like everything all over again. I don't know
Yeah.
how you can have your heart open so many times, but it was amazing having her really young. And while Zendaya was really young, was great because they get a chance to grow up together, being 15 months apart. They play with the same toys. They're almost the same size. So it was perfect. But having her allowed me to be good at the things that I learned with Zendaya.
With the birth of your daughters, you found a new love, and that was blogging. And so you've been doing this for about 4 years. How long did it take you for Dove and Kelly Clarkson and all these other people to recognize the work that you do as a father and be an inspiration to so many people around the world?
It didn't start off that way. I started off only on Facebook sharing stories or making videos that my family and my friends, because Facebook is where my close friends and family are. I don't have like random people that I've never encountered on
Yeah.
there. From there, my dad really started telling me that I should share this. Like, I should write a book. That's my dad. He's like, you should write a book. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm an ex-athlete. So excelling in school wasn't something I really focused on, and being a writer was never something I dreamed about. But when I had my daughter, I found that the things that I dreamed about before her weren't the same things that I dreamed about after her. And
Mhm.
the things that I thought I was possible, or the things that I thought I might do, weren't the same either. And so starting to write and share my stories became a form of therapy for myself, but not only for myself, but for other people. And I started realizing that I wasn't only helping myself, I was helping more people. And that became as important as raising my daughter for me. Because I was like, hey, listen, when I had Zendaya, there weren't any dad books that really prepared me for what I was going to go through. Like, there's
Yeah.
no what to expect when expecting for dads. No
Right.
one told me, you know, what I might go through. And there was nothing to tap into when I had my daughter. So luckily I have friends and family that I'm close with that I've seen raise children. So I had some support, but
Yeah.
thinking about other men who probably didn't have that support at all, it's like, well, I can be that for them. It took maybe 2 years. By the time Zuri was born, I had been writing on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't have a lot of followers, maybe 2,000, and most of that was from my fitness background. But like I said, like you said before, I completely erased everything that had to do with fitness and decided I was going to, you know, share this story, my daddy chronicles, with the world consistently. And I wrote a post about breastfeeding and how fathers can help support a breastfeeding mom that happened to go viral. And that's what got me on the Kelly Clarkson show.
What are regular everyday people saying to you about this?
It's funny you asked that. Everyday people are enjoying it, and it really came from one day I was walking around my neighborhood with my daughters. I had them in their double stroller, and we were just doing a walk. And I seen this guy, and he was intending to pay me a compliment, and he said, "I see you're doing a good job on mommy duty." And if you're an active dad, that's offensive. I know it's intended not to be, because it's more like he was trying to say he sees me doing something, but he was also letting me know he's seeing me doing something that you don't expect me to be doing. That's why you're saying it's mommy duty instead of I'm just doing what parents do. And
Yeah.
so I told him, I was like, yo, I understand what you're trying to say, but everything that I do is what dads do. Like, when you see me change a diaper, because dads change diapers. And when you see me walking with my children, because that's what dads do. And I realized that not just for men, but also for Black men, especially for Black men,
Mm-hmm.
we aren't represented in public, in the world,
Right.
as much being great fathers as we are represented as being coming from broken homes and coming from fatherless homes. And when I say that, I try to be as cautious as possible, because I'm not saying that we aren't represented at all, but
Right.
you'll see more movies where the man isn't there and the kids are raised without their father, then you'll see the one with the dad that's willing to do everything and doesn't miss a day. That
Right.
it's an easier story to tell. And because I know how easy the story is to tell, I was like, listen, I have a responsibility, not just because I want to represent my dad well, but I have a responsibility because I want to represent Black men well, that I share this so people can see, you know what, maybe you didn't know we are this good, but I'm just one of a bunch of them that I know. And I'm going to make
Yeah.
sure that you see me. That way you know that they exist.
That's so amazing. Edward, you are a father of four, and your youngest is a girl. Tell me how it was transitioning from a house full of boys to having a girl.
For me, it wasn't really a big transition for me. I've been a father since I was 18, so I kind of
Mhm.
adapted fast to my circumstances. I think what it showed all the guys in the house was how to be more loving and more affectionate. Because my daughter is super, like, she's a girl, like, for real, real.
Mhm.
You know, she's loving. She wants hugs. She wants kisses. She wants to cuddle and stuff like that. So I think for me, it just brought a sense of more love into the house. So it was cool for me. I liked it very much. It was. I didn't think I would, but I did.
I know that you don't really enjoy the Lakers, but you were also inspired by Kobe. We won't hold it against you. What about Kobe's fathering inspired you in your own fathering of your children, and especially your daughters? Your
it
daughter.
it inspired me in the way of just being there, being consistent, being somebody that can be reliable,
Mhm.
understanding that I have boys that play sports, but he never let that be like a determining factor in being a girl dad. Like, he was like, my daughter can do it just as well as my son if I had one could. And I think that brought me to a point where it's like, no matter what my daughter wants to do, I want to be
Yeah.
supportive in that. I want to have her dream. I want to have her really dream big, because at the end of the day, you as women, they can really do pretty much anything men can do. It's the physical limitation that may keep them from doing some things, but overall, I think they can do anything.
Nice. Now we have one last father. It's Tamir. Tamir, tell me about your family and how you decided to raise your daughter in this kind of generation where there's toxicity. It's a lot going on. How did you decide to raise your daughter in this world?
It's a joint effort. Me and her mom are in separate homes, so it's a joint effort. But I never go a day or a night without, I tuck her in over the phone. I go pick her up and I take her to school. Her mom will go pick her up from school. She has older siblings, so my two oldest are boys, and they're my oldest is 19, my middle is 15, and my daughter Amira, she's 8. So it's hard to get everybody together to do one thing that everybody likes because of the age differences. So it's a lot of one-on-one time, daddy-daughter dates. She's gravitating to basketball, which my boys love and I love. So she's gravitating to basketball, and she gets upset if I don't go as hard on her as I do my boys. So she wants to be as tough as them. It's a beautiful thing.
Are you guys the people that you thought you would become in terms of parenting?
I'm not. Definitely.
Yeah. So, Muhammad, you say yes.
I never had a clear vision of what my life with children would be like, but the type of parent I wanted to be, like I said, it was always laid out for me. When I was younger and my dad found out I was, sexually active, the first thing he said to me was, listen, any woman that you sleep with can be the mother of your child. And if you have a child, you're going to raise it, because that's what we do. And that was it. There wasn't an option. There wasn't I'm going to help you get no. It was, you're going to do it. And you're going to figure out how to do it. And so I've never once thought that I would have a moment of having a child and not do what I was supposed to do or be present and be active, because there's power in having both parents. And a lot of time moms are always expected to be moms. So you don't really think about how important moms are, because moms don't typically run off. Not saying that some don't, because some do, but typically moms are great and dads have to be there. And since I'm a dad, I had to think about the fact that, listen, when my children come, it's my responsibility to do my part and be that part that they need from me, just as much as their mother's going to be her part. And if she isn't, then I need to do both. Luckily for my children, she is.
Now, Tamir, it sounded like your vision wasn't so clear. You had a transformation. Tell me about that.
I grew up without a father, so I didn't know, what the fatherhood path was going to be. But what I did know is I knew all the things that I missed not having my dad around. So that was my basis on where to start as a father. I was intended to be everything for my boys or for my son at the time that my dad wasn't for me. So that was my groundwork right there.
Muhammad, you made a post about the election of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And, that was a historic moment. The first Black woman, the first person of color, the first woman of color as a vice president. What does that mean for the example that will be set for your daughter? What does that mean for her?
I feel like it is just as big as when Barack Obama won the presidency for my daughter as that was for me. I was almost 30 when this happened. My babies are, 2 and 3. And a Black woman now is in a place of power that it took almost 30 years for me to see a Black man. So the power that it gave me after 30 years, they don't even have to wait that long to get it. There's so many things you don't think about until you have girls. You think about women's safety and how women are treated. You think you love women when you don't have daughters, but once you have a daughter, you start to look at everything.
Yeah.
How everything affects women, because as a man, I'm going to be all right. But wow, how is this going to affect my baby? Because I might not be here forever to protect her, and everything is going to affect her. Well, now at 2 and 3 years old, a Black woman is somewhere that I've never seen happen. I'm 36. It just happened for me. But for their life, this is normal.
To see this happening for me is just amazing that my daughter can turn on the TV and she doesn't have to feel like she has to play a sport. She doesn't feel like she has to be a model. She can actually run. She can be in the politics. She can actually do things that are actually going to be impactful in the world. You know, success is determined by, I think, how you're raised. And for me and my wife, we raise our kids to acknowledge success as being impactful, you know, making change, bringing awareness to people that they don't know about. And it's just phenomenal. Like I said, it's an amazing time. It's an amazing time.
It sounds like all of you guys had to acquire new skills to be loving and to be affectionate and to love in a different way. Where did you get those skills from? What resources did you pull from? How did you know what to do? And if it was enough?
I feel like your daughter kind of brings it out of you, because I can't pinpoint where it came from. I just remember she was born and I was feeling stuff I had never felt before. Girls make you feel in a way you didn't have to feel as a man, or a way you're taught not to feel. I was raised to not feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad, as great as he was, when you're a boy and you fall, it's like, get up, rub some dirt in it. Don't cry. Suck it up. You can't be soft. And then you have a daughter, and then she'll just walk up to you and take a little boop to your heart.
So imagine this, in the same vein that you say that, I was 34 when I had my daughter. So 34 years out of my life, you know, it was like never cried, never, you know, be hard, all that. So at 34, I had to change all that. And it's like, and you know, for you know, like Edwin, I think you say you have older boys, right? So when you have that daughter, even though you have those years of experience of being a father, it's like when you have a daughter, it's like a totally new experience all over again. You know, you always hear about a maternal instinct, and I think that's just our fatherly instinct. It you know, you know she's delicate, she's like a flower, and you don't want to break anything, you don't want to break her, and you just you know, like Muhammad said, they have their ways of letting you know. You know, because if you notice, I don't know if you guys notice, like they'll know what to go to mom for and what to go to dad for, and it's just, you know, it's their instinct, and it's our instinct. You know, it's instinctual. I think it's you know, it's just something that it's innate. You're born with it, and seeing them, looking into their eyes, it just draws it out.
The day my daughter was born, it kicked in for me, because when she was born, my wife had problems due to pregnancy. So when I was in the hospital with him, nobody else was in there but me, my wife, and you know, the doctors. My wife had the baby, she flatlined. My daughter was born and she wasn't breathing. And at that moment, like all these emotions like came over me. Like I felt like I needed to protect them. I needed to do something to save both of them. And everything worked out the way it needed to work out. But from that moment, I had never had those emotions since like my grandmother passed away. And that was in 1994. So when that came out, I knew like it was something different happening to me, because I didn't cry, didn't feel pain. I wasn't gonna let nobody see me stressed or anything. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, something's different. I'm changing. So
me and my daughter, we enjoy looking at the moon and the stars through the telescope. I've never wanted to be involved in science in any form or fashion, but you know, she likes it, so I like it, and I, you know, looking through the telescope, it's real cool. Now I'll sit out in the backyard and I'll do it even if she's not there, you know, just because I know she loves it, and I want to be able to master that telescope so I can show her different things in the universe and whatnot. So never be afraid to be uncomfortable, man.
That's really beautiful, and it sounds like a lot of listening, a lot of intuition, and just really making the choice to do what you felt, and so that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing, and I'm sure the audience will benefit from this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To all my Girl Dad guests, thank you so much for showing up. You rock. We'll see you next time.
I really love being dad. Hold on, time in. Sorry.
Hi.
All right, now the other one's gotta come. One more time. I didn't leave. I'm literally in the other room. I will not leave you.
If you'd like to be a guest on The Brandon Show, shoot us a message. Brandon@brandonshow.com. Until next time, be well.
We can do better.